So I just went back and I've been watching the videos that I posted, or videos that I made, and then ended up putting on YouTube so the boys could watch them, or you could watch them. I don't know if whoever watches these. Brent Caden could watch the videos of when I flashed the original base map to the Mazda 3, and then my first couple of drives, and then the next day when I was making videos for them, I wanted them to kind of be there for the tune up and everything like that. So I was making videos to kind of include them in that process and everything. And man, I that was 6 months ago. That was in July. Well, it's well over 6 months now. Today's January 20 and late. Um, and it's just as weird to see how things have come full circle after um fuck everything that's happened since then. And it wouldn't any way for me to know what was coming my way. Like I'm doing like 85 miles an hour in the car and like babying it, and like all like worried about every little tick and dip. Like now with everything, I've made 2 trips to Dallas and back, and the Moz and I have gotten very familiar. But even watching those videos now, I realize that it took some time for it to fully adjust and fully release. The transmission had to make adjustments to the new power. The power kept increasing for some time. I guess probably it was getting used to the aspiration ratio and stuff like that. But yeah, that the ECU tuning, and I ended up having ended up learning a lot more about that whole process, and I mean, watching me make or talk and listen where I was at the time, and everything is just it's crazy how much can change and inside of a year, and then beyond that. But so waking up, it's dawn. And I had made the decision to sell the 3, and I've got that goes official in exactly, well, almost 24 hours from now, a little over 24 hours from now. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning is when that finalizes. And it's not because I don't love that car. That's been a huge blessing for me. But it after getting used to it and everything like that, and learning more about the car, learning more about how I drive, and I mean just everything in general, it was I should have held out for the all-wheel drive turbo. I would have saved myself a lot of trouble. I wouldn't be selling it if it was all-wheel drive turbo. Wouldn't be selling it, but and I think my plan is right now is that I'm gonna get a cheaper car, or a used car, something like that. Something that's a bit more low key, a little bit more low profile. Get power and everything like that. I'll probably play with ECU on it, or play with it a little bit. But the idea being is that this vehicle, whatever I end up getting, will probably be what I hand off to Brent. That kid turns 15 in 3 weeks. Going back and watching those videos. I mean, that was in July, so I mean, I still, those are the videos I was watching was before like making the runs out to Courtney's and flying past her house and then having to turn around and come back. Stuff like that. um, I had in October last week of September, no, like third week of September, I had left and went to Dallas, and it was on those longer trips that I guess I started to really get to know the car and started to get a better idea. That car's taught me a lot about um, the kind of driver I am and stuff like that. Like I have always been comfortable behind the wheel and been pretty decent at driving, but I've never had a car that I really got to know that was this responsive. I've looked at some of the tech manuals and I know a lot more about the Skyactiv G engine and the gearing ratios in the transmission and the suspension that it has on it and everything like that. I've had a lot more time to run comparisons and see what exactly I've got versus a little bit of improvement I can make. But I mean, all-wheel drive is a big deal for me, and the videos don't do it justice. My driving doesn't do it justice. I'm going to today being the last day. I'm gonna here in a little bit. I'm gonna go put the camera back up, and I'm gonna go take a couple of day videos, and I gotta go and vacuum it out and detail it up a little bit. So when I got to go do that, I'm gonna take some video and ramble some more and make some nonsensical statements and record whatever ignorance I am under right now, so that 6 months from now when I watch it and I'm like, oh my god, well, I didn't know. But 85 miles an hour, dude, I was babying that car. I was just and thought I was being thought I was pretty edgy at the time, like I was getting ready to street race and fuck off. So it I wonder if I should try. I don't think I can. I was gonna say I was gonna try to see if I could redline it, but I don't. There's not enough open road where I could safely pull that off here. So, but I got it. I got it up to 140. And I think it was like 143 is where I finally had to level off at the time. But that car, when I was going to Dallas, and this was the first trip, pretty sure the two run together. I made a second trip in first week of December, out of necessity. I may talk about that. I may not. I don't know. But I had to. I had to be back in that area, and ended up going on through to Dallas and stayed for like a week or something like that. Anyway, the night that I left, though, I made it to. Oh, come on, what was it? Just on the other side of Tuscaloosa, and I left at like 10 o'clock at night, so it was or 11. Because I stopped off and like prayed and like did some meditation before I got on the road. I was nervous all around just because of where we were life, where I was life, and nervous about leaving and stuff like that. So it took me a little bit of time to finally work up the nerve to go, but I also stopped off to like pray and cover the family and everything like that. So it was at like 11 o'clock I finally got on the road, and I think it was at like 3 o'clock in the morning I made it finally to the other side of Tuscaloosa and stopped because I got to where I couldn't see, and roads were wet, and I was tired, like I was road was starting to like blur and stuff, and I was driving. I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and stop. And so I stopped and made some videos there, and had like my gun. The town I stopped in was uh, like a motel, and then a bingo thing, and then like a country western dance club, and a gas station. That was it. The name will come to me in a bit. About mid video, I'm gonna scream it out just out of nowhere. But and then the next day, I made it to. I got up and was back on the road like just at dawn. It was like 6 or 7 o'clock that morning, and got to the Mississippi state line, and I had gotten pretty confident at that point. I was feeling a lot better behind the wheel, and this Beamer comes up behind me, and I guess I had put on a show, caught their attention, and blew past me, and I guess for trying to get my attention, want to race kind of deal, and I did. So, but from I had Live 360 on, so it recorded this trip, but from the eastern state line at Mississippi on I-20 to the western state line, and this was 210 miles. Me and this Beamer were back and forth the whole night. And when I say back and forth, they smoked me. They could hit the gas. This was I forget the model number, honest with you, but it had to have had late end turbo, because it took 2 or 3 seconds and the thing would be on the horizon, and I was doing 120, 130 miles an hour kind of baseline, I hit 130 trying to keep up with it, and then I think one of my first initial runs just trying to keep up with them, I hit like 140, and that was ended up just trying to catch up with them, not keep up with them, but catch up. The thing was fast as shit. They had to have been doing every bit 160 more or more. So there was no beating it. That's one of 2 vehicles that just wiped me out. The other one was a Roush Mustang. But I can proudly say and love saying it. The owners were just the looks on their faces. But the Volkswagen GTI, I don't know if you've ever met somebody who owns a GTI, but they're the best cars ever. So, but if you make one mad and they get all worked up and stuff like that, they'll let you know that it's a GTI and they're fixing to take off and you're gonna lose, kind of thing. No, I have smoked every GTI I've come up on. 3 where they're like for sure we're head to head kind of thing. Not even and like the first one I didn't think I was gonna beat, so like I floored it and didn't know that I wasn't in sport. So we were in traffic and I didn't quite edge it, and realized I was in just a standard driving mode with the tune, and so I hit sport, and I mean, wiped the fight. The look on the guy's face was just priceless. Skinny little, nerdy little looking dude that was positive that his car was faster. I'm not even a turbo, y'all. He at the end of the race, he wouldn't look at me. It's not just that I didn't even. There was no major driving involved. Just off the line, I was ahead. The more time that went, I was further and further ahead. And I guess that's probably one of the first experiences where I was like getting to know the car, getting to know what it was capable of. That's no joke. The Skyactiv G engine and a little bit of ECT. If you mess with it digitally, you can do that thing. That's been a hell of a lot of fun. Just not all that with 24 hours left to go here. But with the Beamer, we did 210 miles in an hour and 50 minutes, and like I was pushing it because I didn't want to lose them. idealistically speaking, if I didn't have to stop for gas, I'd have ridden with them all the way into Dallas if life would have allowed it. But we got to the state line and I had to pull off. I had to stop for gas, and I saw that guy was actually trying to get there too. I was like, "Yo, you need gas? Like, go ahead and pull over. Like, we'll stop. Keep on going." Pretty sure it was a chick too. But I pulled off, and they threw this big fit, like, "Yo, hand out the window, hazard lights, all that stuff, revving the engine and stuff like that." So I did the same thing, and wish I had tried a little harder to keep track of them. That's gonna be a hell of a story. I'm gonna be telling that story when I'm 90 years old. um, would have liked to have at least had an opportunity to get to know them. That was an exceptional. But I didn't know the statistics of the drive until I stopped. I got to the gas station and then started. I brought up Life 360 and looked at it all. And as soon as I saw those numbers, like 210 miles an hour in 50 minutes, I was like, like, oh my god! I was like, what is that? That's 100. Holy shit! I was like, and like, for me, it didn't feel quite like 2 hours, but shit, runs together when you're making a 900-mile run. But I didn't realize it was 2 hours. Damn sure I didn't realize it was 210 miles. I knew, and I guess that's why I was looking, because I knew I was back to the state line. I thought Mississippi was more like 330 miles. I was like, no, so that's why I pulled it up. But 210 still is formidable, and an hour and 50 minutes is a DeLorean. That trip was a hoot. I ended up being out there for 2 weeks, and I don't know how detailed. I mean, it's not really gonna be any much harm with me going into detail, but I'll do that in another video. This one was to kind of overview what I was doing today, so that I'm not having to do as much talking while I'm driving. I can kind of give an overview of what's going on today and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Get a day video of me. I'll probably recreate one of those runs. The place where I washed the car is over kind of near Hamlin Place, and so the run of the video where I did that first day run, drove by Heather's office and all that stuff. I can kind of meander my way that way, and then end up over at the place to vacuum out the car and all that stuff. And then tonight I'll take like a nap this afternoon or something like that. And tonight I'll go out and get one more good night video and raise some hell. But whatever I end up doing, I'll have a lot of cars over the course of my lifetime, and it's definitely not over with. And you gotta realize that car is, I mean, the longer I go with any one car, especially if I've got it where, like what that car and I've been through, it's it's definitely not a lifetime thing. And the longer I hang on to them, the more risk I take on. Idealistically speaking, actually, looking at the values and all that stuff, if even if I got the blue book value for it, like if somebody were to hit me today and I got it totaled out, I'd actually be down $3,000 based on the offer I make, or based on the offer that was made on it. So I mean, that's that doesn't suck. So I got a really good offer for it, and I mean, I guess if it was a bad offer, it obviously wouldn't be happening. But I can't turn the offer down, because I can call it for the year and get most of the value that I had in most of the investment back out. Now I gotta admit that the car has been through some good and bad with me. No wrecks or anything like that, but we've definitely had a a hell of a lot of experience. I was noting night before last that I've probably spent more time with it just idling, sitting there, than I have actually driving it. And I've put the odometer read 1415 to when I flashed the base map, and it's at like 7,100, something like that. So I've put 6,000 miles on it in 6 months. And a lot of that was Dallas. I would say a little more than half at least. It's 900 miles each direction, so I've done that 4 times. And then in Dallas, I know the first time I was in Dallas, it was at least 30, 40 races. It was just like one right after another. People see a decent car out there, and they're willing to race you. Here it's not so prevalent. Here, if somebody wants to race you, they're too sure that their car is fast and all that stuff, and then they see a basic, nice looking, but just a whatever they assume base model Mazda 3, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna smoke that, and then it takes off as fast as a Porsche, and all of a sudden they don't want to make eye contact with you or talk to you or anything like that. They turn off or something like that. I've had so many people gun it, try to keep up, can't, and then immediately like hit the brakes and like turn off. Like, they're gone. I just can't. They can't cope with the fact that they just got beat up by just some basic ass car. Which it's not. It's it's 2.4 for it is front wheel, but 2.4 Skyactiv G 2021. I think I don't know that. I know base, those things come with like 185 horsepower, and I probably push it up closer. They say up to 20% boost off of the ECU tuning. Now I promise I got every last bit of what it could offer, with the exception, I had some reflashes that I never did get done, but so 185. It's another 30 horsepower is possible. I got well over 200 horsepower. 210 is definitely the range that I would say I hit. But the thing is loud. It loosened up. I know how the thing's gonna react. So when I make my drives later, you can between the 2 different times. When I first got it, or when I first had it tuned, and then now, you can see a huge difference as far as reaction to it. The thing's damn near an extension of me, and I know. I remember one of the videos. I'm like, I'm gonna get back over to Hickson because I'm gonna lose sunlight. I want to make sure that I know the roads and stuff like that. Shit. I was driving through Arkansas in pitch black and 110, 120 miles. I'm not shy behind the wheel at all. I have run, well, not run, but I have had several tense moments with truckers. I didn't appreciate that they cut you off. I'm still trying to figure that out. Some of them will cut you off and slow you down if there's a speed trap up ahead. That's happened almost a handful of times, 3 or 4 times. I know for a fact that they were looking out for me or whatever. But the first trip out there, on the way out there, it seemed like every truck, every semi would as soon as they saw you coming up, they would change lanes, cut you off, and then just like sit there. Or they're trying to pass one truck that they were sitting behind. I'm the only other car on the road, and they wait till I'm like right up on them, and they'll cut me off. And then it takes like a half hour for them to pass that one truck, and then they get back over. And like, dude, if you had just like 7 more seconds, and I would have been a memory, or not even, like I'd have been gone. So I started getting really frustrated with them. And then on the way back from Dallas, there was a trucker or a semi that there was a minivan And I mean, this wasn't the first one of the day, but there was a minivan that had accidentally. And I mean, like I watched the whole thing. It wasn't the dude wasn't even trying to, wasn't trying to be a problem or anything like that. But the minivan um, made kind of a weird move, and it alerted the semi. The semi almost had to hit its brakes, kind of thing. But then this guy, the semi, the driver, he like speeds up and like catches up with his minivan. The trucker's in the right lane. I'm in the left lane behind the minivan. I'm probably mm, I'm probably about 300 yards behind the minivan, and the trucker goes after them and like um, nudges like at him to like make it seem like he's gonna come over on him or whatever. And like I thought that was weird. I was like, what the fuck? And so the minivan slows down, but the trucker slows down with him. And so like I like at this point I'm like, so I gotta speed up and like catch up with the minivan. Like, dude, if you're gonna fuck with this guy, like I'm gonna you're gonna have to mess with twos. And once I got closer, I realized that like they had like bags packed and stuff like that. It's like a family of at least four. I'm dude, like kids in the back, suitcases. They had a dog with them. Um, and the trucker got super aggressive out of nowhere and like actually started like swerving. Like they um, came over like probably like a quarter of the way into their lane, um, and then would go back and then kind of swerve back at him and then go back and kind of swerve back at him, and then the guy like kind of swerved at him one time and the truck like came over on them and like almost pushed them off the road. And so they're pushing and pushing like there's minivans, so they didn't they definitely aren't didn't have the ACU tuned or anything like that, but they finally get enough momentum going where they can pass this truck, and they're trying to get out in front of it to get over to the right lane and let the truck go by or whatever, just like kind of get to a cruising speed. And so like as they speed up, the truck does and won't let them over. And so the minivan, the driver ended up getting frustrated, eventually, and so he kind of starts to force his way over, and the trucker like floors it again and like won't let him over. And so the guy has to like swerve like quick back over to the left lane. And I mean, dude, I'm watching this whole thing. Like by this time, I am irate. There's kids in this car. This trucker, I don't care. It was so. They got back over the left lane. They were trying to figure out what to do. At this point, this guy's got his fucking hazard lights on, and the trucker's like slowing back down with him and everything like that, like being a total prick. And so the minivan's not knowing what to do. He's just trying to. So at this point, he starts normalizing, and I wait. I'm like three or four car lengths behind, and I'm just waiting. At this point, like I'm boiling. It had been a long trip. I was not interested in being on the road. This was in Louisiana, early Louisiana. Yeah. And so finally things kind of settled a little bit, but you could tell the trucker was, had no intention of like backing off or anything like that. He was still kind of, or but there finally got to where there was enough. I had some room to breathe, like I could get in between the van and the truck. Right, like to the inch, had enough room, floor it. And I cut over in front of this truck with not even a minute to spare, and he didn't see me coming. He didn't know I was gonna be around until I was in front of him. And like so I pull up this move, like I kind of trailed back a little bit, and once I realized there was gonna be space, I trailed back a little bit so I could gain enough speed to pull this move. And I mean I come up at 100 miles an hour, 110, and I mean that, like I said, I'm decent behind the wheel, but came right up behind the van and then cut over real hard, and I'm in front of this truck, and I pushed it up a little bit so that he had time enough to see me and everything like that, and kind of get the wheels turning in case he's had too many energy drinks or not enough. And once I'm satisfied, he's honking his horn and stuff like that and trying to get my attention, like, just wait. I know you're there. So once I realized that we're all stable and everything like that, the minivan is like, "What are you doing?" Like, I take this truck down to 40 miles an hour. Whereas we were doing, let's see, when he was going back and forth with the minivan, that was probably anywhere ranging from 60 to 80 miles an hour, back and forth trying to fuck with that van. So I get this guy down to 40 miles an hour. Now, he tries to swing out around me and stuff like that. Didn't work. Um, I'm more maneuverable, and I can take up a whole road, 2 lanes, 3 lanes, 4 lanes, if I want. So he wasn't getting around me, and I mean this guy was getting hot already. But like I slowed him down enough for long enough that the van could get some distance and could go and safely get over to the right lane, and they ended up. I think they took the very next exit. I'm pretty sure. If not that exit, then by the third exit, it was one of the next three exits. And let's see. We were in. This was that. What's before Meridian? This wasn't Shreveport. Not Meridian. Monroe. This was before Monroe. We were in some, well, not a large city, but a formidable city. So there was exits every mile or whatever, and I think it was the second exit, pretty sure. And then I think I took the third. Um, but this truck was pissed, and I mean, like he was trying to get off. He was trying to get around me, like through this, like off the shoulder, everything like that. Like it was not happening. I got this guy down to like 30 miles an hour, flicking him off, like kids. That was a family of four. I don't know what your problem is, but if you're running somebody off the road, it's going to be me, and obviously you're having a problem with that. So once I saw, once I was satisfied that they were far enough ahead, the trucker wasn't going to be able to catch them or anything like that, and I saw him get over to the right lane. I was like, okay, they they'll be all right. In fact, I coasted with them a little bit. I put some when I finally did put distance between me and the truck and all that stuff. I stayed behind them until they got off, and when they did get off, then I was like 130. I think they took the first exit, and I let the next one go because I didn't feel like it was. Felt like and I was torn. I didn't know if I was going to keep on going. I was going to put some more distance. Um, but I was already irate, and I have a couple of videos actually that I took with like another truck that cut me off, and they were trying to box me in, and um, I mean, this car is maneuverable, yo. It's I can I've got laser precision with that thing. I can get in and out of some really tight spaces. I've done it time and time again. I can go from 60 to 130 miles an hour in a few seconds. I can go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. I love this car, and it has changed. I've grown a lot up with this car, but it's not gonna last forever, and I don't want to be. I don't want having gone through all that stuff with it and all that stuff. I don't want it to be on the. I don't want to watch it deteriorate. Um, I the Mississippi run. It blew a. It didn't blow the seal, but it's got it started leaking transmission fluid. And I think I felt when that happened because 130 miles an hour back and forth with that, and then people cutting us off and stuff like that. The thing with the BMW, the reason why we were able to do that is because we were helping each other out. Like one of us would go up ahead, and then if one of us got past some traffic, we would go, and then we would like slow traffic down, like make them feel like they were going to get around us or whatever, long enough for the other one to come flying around, and then we would take, I would take off, or vice versa. They would open up the lane for the other. And then, we were just like kind of shifting back and forth. Every chance we got, we were doing 130 miles an hour. And then every now and again, they would let me know that they could do 100 and 200 miles an hour. Uh, I mean, we just burned Mississippi. I have never in my life gotten that. Mississippi usually takes 3 hours. I did it in less than two. Uh, it took. I pulled over and I laughed for like 20 minutes. Just like, oh shit. Um, um, Gotten pulled over in it. Not for speeding. Um, Man, I got impounded. I got back to it, and I mean they weren't they weren't gentle with it, and I hated that. Hated that whole experience was fucking awful and stuff. But um, you know, I took took care of shit, and am fine. And so it's that experience, getting home from Dallas the first trip was a trick, and then Heather and I's years been awful, and so I ended up uh, I was in shock and just terrified when I actually got home. Um, and she screamed at me and threatened me. Before there was no hug, there was no "Are you okay?" There's nothing like that. She threatened me that she's gonna kick me out of the house. The first thing that she did, and so for that next 3 weeks, I started staying in a hotel room a couple of times, but um, didn't feel right. One, about staying in a hotel, I felt like that was a security problem, being in Chattanooga with everybody that we knew, and then being location and GPS tracking and all that stuff. I just didn't. I don't know. It just didn't feel right. So I tried the hotel room thing for a little while to get some distance between Heather and I. I guess the point that I was trying to drive home was, shit, if I'm not around, absence grows the heart. That shit didn't work. But so she let my ass sit out there in the driveway for like literally like 3 weeks and sleep in the fucking car. And then finally finally managed to work things down to where I felt comfortable coming inside the house. I mean, like I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel comfortable in here, and finally kind of got past that, and came in and started into some really bad depression after that. And Heather and I, this has been technically the worst year of my life, but it's had its highlights. The Mazda 3 definitely is one of them. But I had to, in order to deal with Monroe, I had to be back out that way December 8th, and so I made the trip out there, and I'd kind of had it in my head that I was at least going to drive through Dallas. I was 3 hours away. I might as well stop back through, go get some Mac or whatever, and go eat some Joe's, and then start my way back. But when I was meeting with people in Monroe, there was a reason that I might have to be there. I forget. I think it was. I forget what day it was I left. Now that I think about it, because it may have been. I don't know if it was the 8th that I met up with them or not. I think it was actually the first week of December, so it wasn't the second. It was. I left and went out there a few days ahead of time. I think I went out there. I was out there like by Thursday or Friday, and then I wasn't. My actual meeting was scheduled for like that following Wednesday. That was it. So it wasn't the 7th I left. It was like the 5th or 6th. I don't know. I'll go back and look at that. I thought I had those numbers right, but I didn't. I'll confirm that. Anyway, but they were like, so we feel pretty good about how this is gonna go, this and that. They're like, but because of the nature of the request that we're gonna make, there's a possibility that you will have to be back here. That you'll still have to be here. I was like, well, I can tell you, I'm not staying here. but I'll stay in the area. Like I'm not gonna drive. That's Monroe was like 600 miles. It's 2/3. No, it's 3/4 of the way to Dallas. Um, I wasn't interested in making the trip back to Chattanooga, especially with the way things were going here. To sit only to find out that I didn't have to drive all the way back out there. That wasn't happening. So I left as soon as I had that squared away, everything signed off and everything like that. I got the fuck out of Dodge. I got out of Monroe. I didn't even have enough gas. I was like running on fumes. I was like, I'm not stopping here. But once I got about 20 miles out, I finally stopped and then finished the trip out headed into Dallas. It took forever. There was traffic on 20. What city? Shit, just outside of Terrell, I think. And I've got some crazy photos of the horizon as I was going back in the second time. This crazy ass fiery sunset. I mean, I've seen maybe 2, 3 sunsets that look like that. So I was like, I think, yeah, I'm spiritual and stuff like that. I was like, I believe that's I think I'm in the right place, you know. Or I'm doing okay. It's not like it's like storms and tornadoes and like death, you know, pointing behind me. So I took that as a sign that something was right. And then as the traffic stopped, so I got off. I needed gas anyways, and I got off and just went and sat on the side of the road and got some drinks and something to eat, and just I'd kill time. If I was gonna sit in the car, then I might as well just you know, listen to music and be off the road. I could, you know, be on my phone and stuff like that. So I ended up burning like 2 hours waiting for traffic to clear up, and it finally cleared. But it was like so from Monroe, that should have been 4 hours maybe tops, but it ended up taking me 6. It was like that night when I got in finally, and then but when I stopped at the gas station in Terrell, there's like I'm gassing up and everything like that, and like 4 billion fucking birds all like flying these like patterns and formations all flying around this gas station. I mean, like they were loud. It was crazy looking, crazy sound. That was a very strange moment. Like hair on my neck was like standing up, and yet again, like it wasn't a bad omen. It felt like a, you know, freedom, or you know, you're in the right place. You're flying. You're in the right place, kind of thing. And that was the sense that I got. So that last bit of the trip was really smooth. Oh, 6:35. Both times going into Dallas, 6:35 going in. Not as brave coming out, and it doesn't really matter. But going in, when you've been on the road for 12 solid hours and you're burnt and everything like that, 6:35 is the last thing that you're interested in, like taking your time and detailing out. But and maybe that's it. It was probably 6:35. It was 6:35 that did it. Both times I pulled over to laugh after it was all said and done. I did not skip a beat. I did not lose anything, having moved away and lived not in Dallas for 18 years. I got on 635 and owned that road. It was mine. Every 8 lanes, or every one of the 8 lanes, wherever I wanted to be, I was where I was, and everyone got out of my way. But I'm talking about laser precision in between cars, 0 to 90 miles an hour like it was nothing. Put on a hell of a show. In fact, some of the most skilled driving I had ever done, and actually, I mean, that's fair. It's the most skilled driving that I have ever done. Is the 2 times that I've gone on the 635 going into Dallas this year, in that car, and so that's where a lot of the advancement in my driving and getting to know that car and everything like that, because I finally pushed it to beyond what I was aware that it would do, that I could do. It was, I mean, those are great memories. It's I'm at right coming up on 45 minutes here. I'll cut the overview short and everything like that and elaborate more later. But wanted to give a sense of what what I was doing, why, and all that stuff, so that it was I can kind of get in the car and go. But I'm gonna wake up and get cleaned up and get the motivation. I want to go clean the car, and I'll go get some double stick tape and do my rig up in the windshield so you can see the road and all that stuff, and we'll go take it for a joyride right quick, round chat, one good time. I don't even know, I had to the keyless entry system had a malfunction when I was in Dallas last time, and wouldn't start, stuff like that, and I had to have it towed without it starting, and the guy didn't know how to do that, so he kind of just janked it up on the flatbed, and the front left strut has a little bit of a grind in it. It's either strut or the axle one, but has a little bit of a grind in it now, and further prompting, like, I don't want that. I don't want to replace. It's got 7,000 miles on it. I don't want to replace the transmission seal and the transaxle, or whatever the case may be. I don't want all that. So going into whatever, when I do a big replacement, like I said, I did this one maybe ended up being Brandt's car, but when I do my next replacement, I know a lot more. I know how to deal with the salesman better, and how to deal with, I mean, the whole process from when I bought the car to now. I know a lot more about what I'm doing, which is gonna save me a lot of trouble. So, and like I said, I'm getting a lot of value still out of this. It's the offer is at least $3,000 above Blue Book right now, and that's in excellent condition. That's nuts, but that's happening, so I can't turn that down. So last day with my white preferred edition and my gunmetal all-wheel drive turbo, whether it's 21 or not, I don't know, but my gunmetal all-wheel drive turbo will be soon enough. So I'll get this uploaded. Good morning, whoever watches this. Nobody. You. I'm sure you're watching this 6 months from now, and all the horrible shit that happens in between now and then you're like, oh my god, dude, like, run. Maybe it's all good. Maybe you're like, man, it really turned around. Hope so. But down for whatever. Okay. So hey, dude, good luck, or good sticking in there. Keep up the good work. How's 38 going? This is a month and a week before you turn 38. Happy birthday, in case nobody else does it. And keep it up, dude. Proud of you. Yeah. Alright. See you guys in a bit.